Confined Space's Capsule. Kamal and his wife immigrated to Canada a few years ago. In his home country, Kamal worked as an industrial painter for a company that recycled sea containers, industrial silos, and specialized train cars. Newly graduated from a vocational education center in industrial painting, Kamal just got a job in his field. Kamal is used to working in confined spaces. He could convince anyone of the importance of staying alert and always following the basic safety procedures in a closed environment. He still struggles to forget the tragic incident in which he lost two friends who were doing repair work on a cargo container a few years ago. As usual, an air quality test was performed before the workers entered the confined space that morning. Then, his two colleagues had entered the container and mixed the paint solution, once in the confined space. The vapors that were released into the air were highly flammable. However, the painters were not using gas detectors during work to take continuous readings. These detectors are also required. They measure between 3 and 6 gases, depending on the number of sensors installed on the detector. Since the density of the vapors from the mixed product was less than that of the ambient air, 0.67 compared to air which has a density of 1, they ended up in the top of the container near the ceiling, exactly in the space used by the light bulbs hanging from the ceiling. When no one was suspicious of anything, a spark occurred in a light bulb and a violent fire broke out in a few seconds, killing his two colleagues, two friends, in terrible circumstances. This morning, Kamal is happy to be able to start working in his field again. He wonders how the work will go in the confined space. As he leaves his car, he makes sure he has his personal protective equipment with him. When he meets with his manager, Kamal is pleasantly surprised. His manager points out right away that working in a confined space requires careful preparation. The first steps are to carefully read the work permit and the safety data sheets for the products used in the confined space, to release any residual energy, and to proceed with lockout to isolate the confined space. Reminding him that most of confined space accidents are caused by hazardous atmospheres and free-flowing materials, the manager invites Kamal to take a tour of his work area with his team leader. Together, they ensure that all preventive measures are in place for atmospheric, biological, psychological, fire and physical hazards. They read together the safety data sheet of the products used during work to learn about the risks that could cause accidents. The site visit allows him to see that safety is truly valued here. The limits of the work areas are well determined, the ventilation systems are state-of-the-art, and the teams are well equipped and coordinated. Once a confined space is secured, the entry manager gives approval for work to begin in the confined space. Prior to this, they have shared the information from the entry instruction sheet and the permit with all personnel working at each confined space, including their supervisor. A supervisor on duty will stand outside the confined space and will make sure to take the data from the detector and stay in communication with the entrance, as well as record the presence of all entrants in the confined space. Everyone seems to be working in a calm and good mood. It is obvious that all the preventive measures in case of an accident are implemented, which reassures Kamal that he is in the right place. His team leader explains that in order to avoid incidents, the organization must ensure that all workers involved in confined space work in this company have the knowledge, skills, and qualifications to fulfill their assigned role. He meets with several members of the emergency response team on standby, which are ready to respond within seconds if needed. Regulations are clear that a response plan must be prepared and proven. Kamal is certain that he will be able to work safely on this job site. What he hears from his team leader confirms that he can rely on the seriousness of his employer.
To learn more about this topic, please consult our e-learning platform and catalog, as well as our training and professional services in risk management.